opportunity to kind of get ahead
to help both of us.
Well, we've got an announcement today that's going to be doing that as well.
Cool.
Thank you too.
I know, we're going to come and stand over here.
Mila. We'll see you in a little bit.
Say nice to meet you, Justin.
Haley. Who's this?
I'm Ellie.
Yeah, Ellie. Great to see you guys. I'm going to do something over here for a sec. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. It is a really great pleasure to be back on Vancouver Island, and I'm really happy here to be here with our great Vancouver Island team. Jamie Hammond, who's the candidate here in Esquimalt Saanich Suk, also Blair Herbert, Nikki McDonald, Ryan Windsor, Jonah Gowans, Peter Schwartzoff, and Michelle Corfield. My friends, in every election, we get to make an important choice about the future of our country. We get to decide what kind of future we want to build together. In 2015, after a decade of failed Conservative policy, Canada's economy was flat. Economic growth, job creation, wage growth, all were stalled thanks to a Conservative government that believed cuts and austerity were the answers to everything. Canadians chose a new team that was willing to invest in people and in their communities. We know that even though we live in the best country in the world, better is always possible. And while there's more work ahead of us than behind us, we've spent the last 4 years moving forward, and we've got the record to show for it. Poverty is way down. Unemployment is at historic lows, and job creation is way up. And it's because our team rejected Conservative cuts and austerity and chose instead to invest in the middle class and people working hard to join it. On a mis plus d'argent dans les poches des Canadiens en baissant les impôts de la classe moyenne et en augmentant ceux du 1% les plus riches. On a arrêté d'envoyer des chèques aux millionnaires pour qu'on puisse donner plus aux familles monoparentales, plus à la mère qui jongle 2 emplois, plus au père qui a du mal à se rendre à la fin du mois. On a renégocié l'ALENA et garanti un accès privilégié à notre plus grand et notre plus important partenaire commercial à une époque où le protectionnisme et l'incertitude dominent aux États-Unis. On a renforcé le régime des pensions parce que dans un pays comme le nôtre, nos aînés devraient toujours pouvoir joindre les 2 bouts. En même temps, on conserve la nature. On fait en sorte que l'air reste propre et que nos cours d'eau restent sûrs. Nous nous devons de prendre soin de notre environnement et nous le devons surtout à nos enfants. These kinds of investments are making a real difference in people's lives. And this fall, Canadians once again get to vote for the kind of Canada they want to live in. We've all got a choice to make. Keep moving forward and build on the progress we've made, or go back to the politics of the Harper years. The Conservatives like to say they're for the people, but then they cut taxes for the wealthy and cut services for everybody else. But as Canadians well know, that's the wrong approach, because you can't cut your way to prosperity. That's why we chose to move Canada forward by investing in families, workers, and communities, by having faith in Canadians. In 4 short years, Canadians have created over 1 million jobs. We negotiated new health accords with the provinces and territories. The new Canada Child Benefit is helping parents with hundreds of dollars tax-free every month. And we've lifted 900,000 Canadians out of poverty, including 300,000 kids. But we know there's still lots more work to do. One thing I hear a lot from young people here in Victoria is that they can't even imagine buying a home right now. Owning a house should be a realistic life goal. It's where you set down roots, where you raise a family, where you grow old. But young people hoping to buy their first home, just like their parents did a generation ago, are facing a tough housing market. That's why, earlier this year, we launched the new first-time homebuyers incentive, which provides Canadians with up to 10% off the purchase price of their first home. We took a big step in the right direction, but we know a lot of people are still struggling, especially in places like Victoria or Vancouver, where the cost of housing has skyrocketed due in part to housing speculation by foreign owners. So today, we're announcing that a new Liberal government will expand the incentive to give even more help to people living in Victoria, the Greater Vancouver area, and the Greater Toronto area. In those markets, we will increase the value of a qualifying home from approximately $500,000 to nearly $800,000. And we're also sending a message that Canada is not a place for those who wish to speculate in the housing market. To tackle the effect foreign speculators are having on the affordability of homes in our biggest cities, we will also introduce a modest 1% annual tax on residential properties owned by people who are not Canadian and do not live in Canada. And that's on top of local taxes already in place. I want to make it clear, though, that Canadians living abroad or permanent residents in Canada will not be affected in any way. We're doing this because we want our markets to stay stable and affordable. Now, Conservatives talk a big game about making life more affordable for Canadians these days, but let's not forget that they voted against the first-time homebuyer incentive when they had the chance. Under a Liberal government, we will continue to invest in families while finding new, innovative solutions to the challenges facing Canadians. Because at the end of the day, politics is about people. It's about you. Maybe you're a recent grad or a new Canadian, or maybe you're raising your kids or living your golden years out in retirement. Whoever you are, you deserve a real plan for the future. We've done a lot these past 4 years, but the truth is, we're just getting started. Canadians have an important choice to make. Will we go back to the failed policies of the past, or will we continue to move forward? That's the choice. It's that clear, and it's that important. I'm for moving forward for everyone, particularly them. Merci tout le monde. Joyce.
Good morning, Mr. Trudeau. Joyce Napier, CTV. Your opponents are all in Toronto preparing for a debate tonight. At the beginning of this campaign, did you not think it was worthwhile or worth your time to be there to debate them just because the campaign is starting? I know that you're going to be at a debate on the 7th, but that's 3 weeks from now. Did you think that it was wise to wait 3 weeks before you debate your opponents?
I am very much looking forward to the 3 opportunities we'll have during this campaign to debate with the other leaders. I think there are really important choices for Canadians to make, really important conversations to have. But I'm also really, really happy to be here on Vancouver Island this morning to meet with families like Lisa and Gray and others and talk about what we're doing to make life more affordable for Canadians. Later today, I'll be in Kamloops, and after that in Edmonton tonight, and the opportunity to get out across this country, speak with Canadians and listen to them and talk about how we're going to build a better future for everyone and how we're going to choose a better future for everyone is at the core of what this election is all about for me, and I'm going to keep doing that.
But this is about today's debate, and you're not there. And
I am very much looking forward to being in Edmonton tonight. I'm very happy to be here in Victoria today. Very happy to be continuing to talk with Canadians. And of course, I look forward to the opportunity to debate against my fellow leaders in the 3 occasions that we'll be doing in this campaign.
Morning, Teresa Wright, Canadian Press. You've said in the past that as a practicing Catholic that you are personally opposed to abortion. Do you still hold that view?
My view, and I've been very, very clear about it, is that every woman in Canada gets to choose what she does with her own body, with her own reproductive rights. No one can force a woman to choose when or with whom to start a family. It is her choice. That is my core conviction, and that is how I have actually led government over the past 4 years and ensured that every single candidate running for the Liberal Party agrees that defending women's rights and women's right to choose is unequivocal for the Liberal Party. Okay. J'ai toujours été très clair que ma croyance profonde, c'est que toute femme a le droit de choisir quand et avec qui commencer une famille. Toute toutes les femmes au Canada devraient avoir accès aux services et aux droits reproductifs et à l'avortement, évidemment. Pour moi, c'est un enjeu qui est une croyance profonde par rapport aux droits des femmes, mais c'est aussi une croyance politique. C'est pour ça que je me suis assuré que tous les candidats pour le Parti libéral sont sans équivoque qu'ils vont défendre les droits des femmes en tout temps.
Why should it matter to Canadians what the personal views of politicians are on abortion when they have committed not to reopen the debate, as both you and Andrew Scheer have done? In English and in French, please.
I think I've been extremely clear that my position is that every single candidate for the Liberal Party of Canada will always, as MPs or ministers or whatever, defend the women's rights unequivocally. That is a choice I made, and it's a choice that is extremely important, not in the abstract, but in the concrete, to millions of women across this country. They need to know that their leaders will be there to defend their rights. That is something that I've made clear on, and I think it's up to Canadians to determine whether or not other leaders have been equally clear.
Catherine Lévesque, La Presse canadienne. Sur l'aide médicale à mourir, il y a eu un important jugement hier. Vous avez 30 jours pour porter la cause en appel. Allez-vous le faire in English as well?
Oui, évidemment, c'est un enjeu extrêmement important pour notre pays. C'est un enjeu extrêmement sensible. Toute famille qui est en train de réfléchir à ces choix-là est en train de vivre un moment extrêmement personnel, extrêmement important. Et j'ai toujours dit que le gouvernement doit trouver le juste équilibre entre la protection des plus vulnérables et le respect des droits et des choix des individus. Établir cet équilibre a toujours été quelque chose de très délicat et on accueille avec grande ouverture le fait qu'on continue d'avoir une discussion, y compris dans les cours, sur les prochaines étapes que le gouvernement devrait entamer à ce niveau-là. Alors, évidemment, nous allons lire attentivement le jugement de cette Cour avant de prendre nos prochaines décisions, mais on va toujours chercher à avoir cet équilibre et j'accueille avec grande ouverture le fait que les cours soient en train de se prononcer sur comment on pourrait peut-être améliorer ce projet de loi. When it comes to medical assistance in dying, we recognize that this is a deeply personal, extremely important choice that Canadian families often need to go through. That is why I feel that the government's responsibility is to establish the balance in the right way between two very important competing responsibilities, that of protecting our most vulnerable and at the same time respecting people's rights and choices. Getting that balance right was very much what we've worked on over the past 4 years with our bill on our law on medical assistance in dying. We always knew, however, that there would be continued evolution and reflection in the courts and in society about the next steps to take, and we welcome the fact that the court has pronounced itself on this, and we look forward to reading very carefully the court judgment to decide what our next steps will be. But we will always look to strive that right balance between respecting people's rights and protecting our most vulnerable.
Juste pour être bien clair, reconnaissez-vous qu'il y a des failles dans le projet de loi qui a été présenté par Jane Philpott et Jody Wilson-Raybould et allez-vous amender le code criminel si vous êtes réélu?
On a toujours reconnu que c'était une étape importante dans notre pays de créer un projet, une loi autour de l'aide médicale à mourir, mais on a toujours aussi dit que ce n'était pas le dernier mot, que la société allait évoluer, que des jugements de la Cour, que les mœurs allaient nous amener à réfléchir encore plus à différentes façons de s'assurer que l'équilibre est la bonne entre les droits des individus de faire leur propre choix et la protection des plus vulnérables. Et c'est pour ça qu'on accueille avec grande ouverture cette réflexion qu'on va regarder attentivement.
Michelle Zilio, The Globe and Mail. Jody Wilson-Raybould and Jane Philpott want you to step in and waive cabinet confidence so they can speak to the RCMP about potential obstruction of justice. Shouldn't these two former senior Liberal ministers be able to give evidence to the police without being muzzled by cabinet confidence?
We actually took an unprecedented step in giving out a waiver that allows for all matters, all issues relating to this matter to be discussed at committee, to be investigated, to be followed up on. This was something that we did that is unprecedented because we know that it was important for people to be able to examine what happened in this matter. and that's why we took that step.
And yesterday you said you respect decisions made by professional public servants, namely the decision of the clerk to deny RCMP access to witnesses and cabinet documents. Why did you not respect the professional decision of the Director of Public Prosecutions to deny an out-of-court settlement with SNC-Lavalin? Why the double standard?
The job of a Prime Minister is always to stand up for the public interest, to stand up for people's jobs. That's what I did, and that's what I will always do. Canadians know that I will be there to defend their jobs every step of the way. That's what Canadians can count on.
Bonjour, M. Trudeau. Hier, le premier ministre François Legault a demandé à tous les partis fédéraux de s'engager à ne pas bloquer, à ne pas intervenir contre la loi sur la laïcité. Hier, vous avez dit pour l'instant, on le fera pas. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire pour l'instant? Est-ce que ça veut dire on le fera pas tant que ça ne sera pas rendu en Cour suprême? Ce serait bon que les Québécois sachent exactement ce que vous voulez dire et ce que vous allez faire si jamais vous formez le prochain gouvernement. Je
pense que les Québécois savent très bien où ma position personnelle et la position de mon gouvernement se tient. On ne trouve pas qu'un État devrait légiférer sur ce que les gens peuvent ou ne peuvent pas porter. Je trouve qu'une société qui essaye de légitimiser la discrimination s'en va dans la mauvaise voie. Mais je comprends aussi que c'est une discussion essentielle que les Québécois devraient avoir avec leur gouvernement. Et je rappelle que la Charte des droits et libertés est là justement pour pouvoir permettre aux citoyens de venir contester des lois avec lesquelles ils sont en désaccord. Et c'est exactement ce qui est en train de se passer. Comme j'ai dit, nous réfléchissons attentivement à si et comment nous devrions intervenir, mais pour l'instant, je trouve que ce serait contre-productif pour qu'on intervienne. Mais effectivement, sur un enjeu aussi fondamental que des droits fondamentaux, je trouve que ce serait aussi irresponsable de dire qu'on n'interviendrait jamais dans cette situation-là. Je vais continuer d'utiliser mon jugement pour voir si ce serait utile ou important pour le gouvernement fédéral d'intervenir.
Mais la loi est très populaire au Québec. Est-ce que vous ne gardez pas la porte ouverte pour dire aux Québécois, votez pour moi, je ne vais pas vous dire exactement ce qu'on va faire, on va peut-être contester, on va peut-être pas contester, on ne le sait pas trop, si, peut-être. Et une fois que vous allez former le gouvernement, là, vous allez avoir les pleins pouvoirs et vous allez faire ce que vous voulez là-dessus? Je peux dire très, très clairement aux Québécois que je défendrai toujours les libertés fondamentales de tout le monde. Ça, c'est ma position. Ils peuvent s'attendre qu'un gouvernement sous ma direction fera toujours ce qui a besoin d'être fait pour défendre les libertés de tous et chacun. Mais en même temps, je reconnais que ce serait contre-productif à ce moment-ci pour le fédéral de s'engager dans le débat d'une façon qui pourrait être perçue comme étant cavalière. C'est pas dans l'intérêt du débat et les Québécois sont en train justement d'utiliser la Charte des droits et libertés comme il se doit et de l'utiliser pour contester une loi qu'ils trouvent injuste.
Hi, Mr. Trudeau. Mercedes Stevenson, Global News. President Trump is making an announcement on flavored vaping products today, possibly banning them. It's something that Canadian pediatricians have called for as well. Are you looking at a potential ban on flavored vaping products in Canada?
I can tell you that Health Canada has been engaged with this issue over many months in consultations, working with experts and researchers to determine the right path forward. We've already taken a number of steps on vaping and harmful tobacco use. And we're always looking to do more to keep Canadians safe. But our decisions will be made based on evidence, based on data, and we will have more to say as Health Canada continues to do its work of keeping Canadians safe, including from the dangers of vaping.
Hi, Mr. Trudeau. Tom Parry with CBC News. High prices, high housing prices in Vancouver and Victoria and the GTA have been a problem for a long time. So why didn't you tackle this in your budget? Why are you waiting until now during an election campaign?
Actually, we tackled this in a number of ways from the very beginning of our mandate. One of my first roundtables in Vancouver was around the high costs of housing and the measures that a federal government can do to make sure that housing is more affordable. The first one of those, obviously, is a national housing strategy that puts forward $40 billion of the federal government re-engaging in housing to ensure that rentals, that new homes are more affordable for people right across the country. But we recognize there was more to do, and that's why in our budget in 2019, we put forward the National First-Time Homebuyers Incentive, which actually gives 10% off, up to 10% off the price of a home for a first-time home buyer. That's a program that applies right across the country. What we recognize and what we're announcing today is that there are areas in this country, as you named, Victoria, Greater Vancouver, Greater Toronto, where the housing prices are so significantly higher than the national average that there needs to be extra help through that the first-time home buyers incentive. That's why we're moving forward on creating an extra incentive in those areas for higher housing values and higher income levels so that more people can afford their first homes. There is a real challenge across this country of people being able to afford their first homes, and that's why this government has done things concretely in Budget 2019 and continues to announce that we will move forward even further to help Canadians afford their homes.
On the proposed tax on non-resident home buyers, you're calling it modest. If it's modest, what good's it going to do?
We have seen from British Columbia's example that even a modest tax can have a significant impact on speculation, foreign speculation in housing markets. One of the knock-on effects, though, of the BC initiative is that that has pushed capital to other parts of the country where there isn't that modest speculation tax. That is why we feel it is important to create a national measure right across the country based on BC's success with it to ensure that foreign speculation doesn't make housing less affordable for Canadians who, as we know, are looking for places to live.
Mary Brooke for West Shore Voice News. The NDP have a stronghold on the island, and the Greens think they have some room to grow. What does the voter on Vancouver Island look to in the Liberals? Where do you think your chances are?
We continue to put forward a strong plan to move forward on housing affordability as we have today, on growing the economy in a way that both creates jobs, as we have seen Canadians create 1 million jobs across the country over the past 4 years, at the same time as we've lifted 300,000 kids out of poverty, 900,000 Canadians total. We know that to move forward in both protecting the environment and growing the economy goes together. We've been a government that has done more for protecting the environment, which is something that matters deeply to Vancouver Islanders as well as people right across the country, than any other government. So I'm very pleased to be able to put forward an incredibly strong team of 7 great candidates on Vancouver Island to give people on Vancouver Island the opportunity and the choice to be part of a government that's going to continue to move forward for all Canadians.
Last question.
Prime Minister Mary Griffin with Czech News. You're starting the first full day here on Vancouver Island in this riding. Just 2 things. Climate change is at the forefront of many people's concerns. Your government has bought a pipeline. How do you allay the concerns of people who have real anxiety and concerns about climate change, which is a major issue on this island, and how would you expect to punch through this election, knowing that climate change is at the top of mind for so many here on Vancouver Island?
I think Canadians understand that we need to both grow the economy and protect the environment at the same time. And indeed, you cannot grow the economy unless you are protecting the environment. We have to move our economy towards greener, towards cleaner, and that means using all our resources to invest and to pay in that transition. It doesn't serve anyone to leave tens of millions of dollars on the table because we can't get our resources to markets other than the United States right now. It doesn't serve anyone to be putting more oil by rail, to more oil by tanker truck, when we know that pipelines to well-secured marine area, well-serviced marine areas are the safest way to transport and to export our natural resources. We know that investing all the profits from the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion into the cleaner energy transition is something that all Canadians understand. And here on Vancouver Island, you have demonstrated both an understanding of how important it is to protect our environment while developing our natural resources responsibly. And that is something we're going to continue to do as a government. Merci tout le monde. Can you do it now? You want to say hi? Say hi.
Well.
Hello?
Well.
Say, hi, my name is Gray. No, it's tougher than it looks, isn't it? Here, come on over.